Brazil suffers historic flooding in the country's south, leaving dozens dead and thousands stranded.
Meanwhile, in more news, some of the worst flooding ever seen in southern Brazil has killed at least 31 people. Rescuers are trying to reach families stranded on rooftops due to rising waters. The governor of Rio Grande do Sul said it was the state's worst weather disaster. The storm forced hundreds of people from their homes. The Brazilian president says the federal government is ready to help. Here's our South America correspondent, Katie Watson.
The governor of Rio Grande do Sul says this has been the worst ever weather disaster. The small town of Mucum was one of the focal points of the flooding. 85% of the town was flooded, and there's fears that the death toll could rise. Now, this isn't the first major flooding in Brazil this year. Back in February, around 50 people died here in the state of Sao Paulo because of extreme rain and landslides. Now, experts are saying that the El Niño weather phenomenon has made things much worse. That's when the eastern Pacific, the waters in the eastern Pacific near the coast of Peru and Ecuador, the waters there warm more than usual, causing much more extreme weather events. And those weather events are often manifested in much heavier rainfall. Now, in Rio Grande do Sul, which is in the south of Brazil, it's close to the border with Uruguay and Argentina. That often sees quite a lot of extreme weather events. It's an area of Brazil that rains consistently throughout the year. And President Lula da Silva has said the federal government is on standby to support the region as more bad weather is expected in the coming days.
Let's take a look at some other stories in the headlines. And staying with floods, more than a dozen people are now known to have died as a result of torrential rainfall which has been sweeping Greece, Turkey and Bulgaria since Monday. In Greece, some regions received up to 800 millimeters of rain, more than normally seen in a year, leaving towns submerged. In the UK, parts of the country have hit 32 degrees Celsius as an unseasonal heat wave sweeps across the country. Usually, September marks the start of autumn and cooler weather, but forecasters say the mercury could hit levels higher than the middle of summer. Heat health alerts have been upgraded to amber for most of England.